Exactly.
Hey everybody, welcome to Berta. I'm with Brogan McAuliffe today, and look, we're having tea and strategy. We realise we both love tea and marketing strategy. And today I'm in Canberra in the mall, and I just was saying to Brogan, she was saying, "Don't you love being an entrepreneur?" And it's like, well, yes, because I can still be doing stuff and be at the mall with my daughter at the birthday party adventure. So awesome. It's so good to be here with Brogan. Do you want to give a quick intro into your thing?
Who I am, my thing? Sure. Okay, yeah. So I'm Brogan, and I'm a content strategist for creative, determined, and heart-centered entrepreneurs. And so basically I help them get their message out of their head and to their people. So whether that's, helping them create content for their blog or social media, or helping them kind of tie all of those communication pieces together. That's kind of like the areas that I focus on.
I love that. You can say that so nice and concisely. That's freaking...
It's taken a long time. A long time to get it. Like, okay, how concise can I get it?
That is nice. It's delicious. And today I thought I would sort of switch up the way we talk with you guys today, because often I sort of hold space for someone. But I thought, since we've got two marketers and it's August, so we should talk about marketing, because it gets to this time of the year, and like Brogan was just saying, there's kind of a couple of camps you can fall into. It's like super motivated, or oh my god, I got lost. And I actually saw a Gary V video the other day, Gary Vaynerchuk, August, and I guess it's more applicable in the States because there is summer break, but he was like, August is the month that everyone's on holiday, and now you could just actually put in some extra yards and totally make it happen. And he was talking more retail focused people in terms of marketing, but I think all businesses know there's sort of an energy that winds up and pumps up around the Christmas time, and then there's a bit of a lull. So for us, August is a great time to like be getting super clear and still really chomping away at what we need to do to make our biz grow. So, and we were going to talk about trends in marketing, because, at the start of the year, everyone makes big predictions about what the trends are going to be. And I felt like the trends were definitely live video, and Snapchat was predicted to be huge. And what do you think, Brogan? What other things do you think in the beginning of the year people were predicting were going to be massive?
Yeah, I agree. I think everyone was talking about video, and especially live video. And everyone was getting excited about Snapchat. I definitely agree.
And it's interesting because Apple named Periscope the #1 app for 2015. So there was all that live streaming action, and now Facebook, Facebook has come in and pretty much crushed Periscope. That's my perception in the circles that I move in, is people have just jumped straight over from Periscope to Facebook Live. What do you think about Periscope? Do you think it's over?
I don't think it's over. I think that it's still got its place. And like we were saying before we kind of started this, that, we wanted to talk about Instagram stories as well, because it's the same kind of story, comparing it to Snapchat. Yeah. But I think that, I think there's going to be a place for both. And I think there's always going to be people who prefer one or the other. There's a lot of people who always complain about Facebook and how, they don't really like Facebook. They don't like the monopoly they've got and everything. So if they don't have, a bigger audience on Facebook, then maybe Periscope is still going to be something that they're going to want to use, especially if they're also, really into Twitter, because the two integrate really well. So I think, I still think there's definitely going to be a place for both of them. And it really just adds more competition to the market, which is always good. Competition is always good. And I think, especially with kind of, when Facebook bought Instagram, and now Instagram's just come out with Instagram stories, Facebook tried to buy Snapchat in like 2013 for like $3 billion or something. And Snapchat declined. And so, to Facebook's credit, like, instead of just kind of crying in the corner and going, oh, we really wanted that app and now we can't have it, they decided to go, okay, cool, like, well, let's make our own. Like, we'll take inspiration from Snapchat and we'll create our own. And, it's brought competition to the market, which I think is always a good thing. And it's just going to make, in one sense, it means that, I'm getting a bit ranty here, but in one sense, it means that, Periscope, Snapchat, or any app really can't just kind of rest on their laurels, if you like, just because they won, like you said, with Periscope, they got the, 2015 best new app. It doesn't really mean anything anymore. Like, unless you're staying on top of your game and you're staying with the trends and you're staying where people are going and what people want, I mean, the awards and stuff don't really mean anything. And I think, so in one sense, I think the competition is going to make apps better. I mean, you know, if you just look at Instagram, it's not just this kind of pretty super polished photo and video platform anymore. It gives you the capability to show behind the scenes and your real personality and more about you without kind of, you know, messing up your Instagram feed in that sense, because you can have things separate in stories. So yeah, I always think competition's a good thing, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how, you know, Periscope and Snapchat kind of either rise to the challenge or, you know, just to see what they do about it. I think would be really interesting.
I love that perspective. I guess I got a little bit like roll over and die about it, but I love that perspective in two ways. And I think like it's interesting because I have teenagers, and so they are very cynical about Instagram doing stories. They are still completely in love with Snapchat, and they just think it's hilarious. And then I see a lot of entrepreneurs who, because they've already built their audience on Instagram, and moving to Snapchat has been a challenge for a lot of people. It's like, oh, great, we can take that functionality and just run with it with our already established audience. So that's a great thing. And then I think something else you said made me think about being an entrepreneur or being in business and being agile and being responsive and being on your game, like not resting on your laurels. So I guess there's a really good lesson for each of us there to keep innovating. And I love your perspective on competition, like not to see it as a roll over and die thing, to go, oh, cool, so how can I stay agile and stay in the game? I love that.
Yeah, and I think it's like, you know, it was the same thing when Facebook first brought out their algorithm years ago, and everyone was like, it's the death of Facebook and it's all over. And then, you know, the same thing happened with Instagram a couple of months ago. And even now it's only still kind of getting rolled out to everyone. And everyone again was like, oh, it's the end of Instagram, like everything's gonna die. And I think it was interesting to see that there was, you know, there were kind of a few people who kind of stood up and were like, well, no, let's look at the advantage of this. And I know that Hillary Rushford on who's really big on Instagram, was talking a lot about how, you know, Instagram bringing out their algorithm can actually work in your favor, because there's data that shows that I think something like only 30% of your, like, what is it? It's like only 30% of like content on Instagram is like actually seen. Because it's so busy. And, you know, the feed and everything just gets really busy. So by creating content that is really engaging for your audience, they're, you know, liking and commenting on your post, therefore boosting your engagement with the algorithm now, that gives you a better chance of being seen. Because if people like your content, then Instagram's going to notice and they're going to push you up in the feed. So I think, you know, it's just that perspective of just saying, okay, like maybe it's kind of annoying that now there's an algorithm or now there's this, you know, other aspects to a platform. But I think kind of having that perspective of saying, okay, well, how can I use this? Like, how can I make this work for me? Seems to always work a lot better than, you know, like everyone just leaving and going, nah, that's it. I don't want to do this anymore. I've had enough. Yeah.
And I guess there's a couple of things there as well. Like, it's going to mean better quality content. So, and in terms of how what that means for a business person, it's like, well, if content creation or image curation is not your strength, then you could make an assessment there and go, well, it's not a strength, it's a weakness. And how do I want to respond to that? Like, do I want to up my game or outsource, or do I want to look at another platform? And you can just make an informed decision about what's going to work for you as a business.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have not actually, this is bad. I've been busy this week and I haven't played with stories. So do you want to walk me through how I would add to my story?
Yeah, so it's very similar to Snapchat in the sense that, so you can, you may have you had the update? Because yes, it has. Okay, so that bit at the top now, that's So that's all the stories. So
You're
if it's got like
I can see you. Look, there you are.
you can see me, yeah. So if it's got like the coloured ring around the person's name, it means that they've got like a new addition to their story that you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
So you can watch other people's stories, and it works in kind of the same way as Snapchat. The cool thing that I like is that you can kind of go back and forward between people's stories. So if you like want to rewatch a section, you just tap the like left-hand side of the screen and the right to like skip forward, and then swipe to completely skip someone's story and move on to the next.
And to add to my own story, and then to add to yours,
the little plus at the top.
Oh, up the top here.
Yeah. So you just hit that, and then it just brings you up with, you know, like the same like kind of camera thing, and then you can either do like, you know, a photo of you, or you know, the normal video way. And then it's just that middle button once you go to that screen, either just like tapping it for a photo or holding it down for a video.
Great.
And it's like a 10-second video, same kind of thing as the only thing is, you can't, I don't think you can set a time to it unless you kind of film like a shorter video. Like you can make it shorter than 10 seconds, but it kind of cuts out as 10 seconds.
So interesting that they've done that. I'm just fascinated by Facebook.
And they were very sneaky. They were very sneaky about it too. Like, well, no one knew until it actually launched. Like everyone kind of just got on, and then there were all these stories with people like, what the hell is this? Like, where did this come from? Like, I don't think anyone was really expecting it. They didn't really talk about it, which is kind of interesting in and of itself.
Yeah, indeed. And so, I mean, for me, for the rest of what year are we? 15?
16.
Oh my
We're 16.
God. See how
I do that all the time. It's so bad.
You don't even have children. Do you have kids?
No, I don't have kids.
Everything. I'm like, my kids are the reason.
See, I don't have kids to blame, so it's me.
Maybe it's a marketing strategy and tea disorder. Let's put it down. Yeah. So I think for this year, the big trend was going to be video, and I don't even push video because someone told me it was trend. I am really into video because I tell my clients to use it, and they use it, and they get epic results. So my whole thing for the rest of this year is video. And of course, Instagram stories is a way to do that, to share little videos. And Facebook Live is the other huge video tool at the moment. I have seen people still using Periscope a lot. And I guess you can always use Periscope and repurpose. And I wonder if people know you can use Facebook and then repurpose that as well. So if you post in a group, you can post on your page as well. You can save it to your camera roll. And I don't know, I'm not feeling that clear about what else is massive for the rest of the year. I mean, it's great to now get clear. Like, what were the two things you said about how you felt people were halfway through the year?
Oh, that you're either feeling like, you know, you're really on top of your goals and you've kind of achieved everything, you know, you're on track to achieve what you wanted to this year, and you're feeling pretty good about, you know, kind of just knuckling down for the last half of the year and, you know, really kind of smashing things out. Or you are kind of in the camp where you got distracted by all of the things and were trying to do too many things at once. And now you've kind of got to August and you're like, I haven't achieved anything that I wanted to achieve. And I'm feeling a bit all over the place, and I'm not quite sure kind of where to focus, because I've got these goals that I want to achieve by the end of the year, and now I've only got like 5 months to do it in.
Yeah. And I guess I feel like the solution either way is just like, I don't know, I love coming back to my big vision and then nailing it down from there. And I just did 90-day planning 2 days ago, so I'm feeling really fired up. So I guess I'm in the first camp. But I feel like either way, it's a good time to just reappraise and set some clear goals for the rest of the year. Make sure you're doing video, get your ass onto Instagram stories if you're on Instagram. I mean, there's a bunch of people I'm so interested to see who's in my stories. I've got you, I've got Koi. I mean, this would be different for everyone depending on who you're following. Tash Corbin's on there. Insta with Alex is on there. I mean, a lot of people are on there. Denise Duffel Thomas. I better get my ass together and get on there. What am I doing?
Yeah, it's pretty good fun. I'm slightly addicted, I think.
Cool. And so if someone was going to come to you, and I mean, I'm clear about my video strategy, but what do you think would be a good strategy that people could use with stories? Like if they're thinking about, oh my God, but what the heck do I do? What would you recommend?
I think that if you tried to get into Snapchat and it didn't really work for you, or you found it really hard to kind of encourage people to actually join the app and download it, which was kind of the bigger problem with Snapchat, was that people were like, I don't want to, download another app. So if you're kind of feeling like that, or if you're feeling like you want to do video, but it's kind of like a really big step for you and you don't feel like you're quite ready to put yourself out there on, a full video or do a live stream, then I think Stories is a really good place to start, because it's a lot easier to use than Snapchat. That's what I found anyway. And, it's just, if you're doing videos, it's just like 10-second snippets. So it's a lot easier to kind of work out what you want to say and manage it. And then you can review it before you actually post it. So I'm not talking about like, getting stuck in like perfectionism and going, like I said this word weird. Or
but if
like,
you have a booger,
yeah, then you can totally delete it. But, I think it's just a much more, it's kind of like a simpler way to kind of ease yourself into video and sharing yourself in a different way, especially if you're not really comfortable with that. The other bonus as well is because, Stories is integrated into Instagram. If you've already got an audience on Instagram, it just gives you the benefits of Snapchat without trying to encourage your people to kind of follow you over there. It gives you the benefit of showing the kind of behind the scenes stuff, or a bit more about your personality. And it was kind of interesting. I was watching Lisa Messenger's story this morning, and she kind of just had this thing, because she's been big on Snapchat, like she loves Snapchat, and she decided to do some Instagram stories as well. And she was just saying how like, so if you've been following me on Instagram, you're probably like a little bit surprised about how like goofy I am, because you just see like this kind of pretty perfect feed on Instagram, and now you're kind of seeing the real me, and it might kind of shock you a little bit. But, which is, I mean, in a way it's good, because it means that it gives personality to the face. And even though you do kind of videos on Instagram, there's still like this different feel about Stories. The same as with Snapchat. There's this different, like there's this more personal kind of feel. And also as well, when you're actually recording stuff, like it doesn't, I don't know, like it doesn't feel as like intense or like as scary in a way. So yeah, if video kind of scares you, then I think Stories is like a good place to start.
Yeah, and I think with Snapchat there was a big dilemma with people of how do I get people to follow me there? And I mean, obviously my solution to that, if anyone's still interested in Snapchat, is you need to have a following somewhere else. So you might have a big list or a big Facebook following or a big Twitter following. It's just a matter of letting them know. So making your profile picture your snap code, or mentioning it in your email, hey guys, I'm over there, and hoping that they'll come over to that platform. So I guess you have an opportunity, if your users are in the demographic that they're already on Snapchat, it shouldn't be a hard transition, but Instagram is making that easier for people who have already put the time and effort into their Instagram following and don't really want to have to duplicate their effort somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I'm a big advocate, and I always preach that, like, you don't have to be everywhere all at once, especially when it comes to social media. Like, I think it's very easy, we want to keep on top of the trends, and we want to know kind of, where things are going and where our people are. But at the end of the day, like, especially if you're a solopreneur, or, maybe you do have a VA, but maybe you don't, you can't afford to be like everywhere all at once. It's the fastest way to burn out. And, especially, because content is so important on social media, and putting kind of like, real effort into that content. If you're trying to kind of just do this scattergun approach and be everywhere, people really feel the energy that you bring to your content, and they're going to notice if, you don't kind of want to be there, or you're not really putting much time into it because you're in like 6 different places. So I think that's kind of the benefit in one way of like, Instagram having Stories now, because it brings those kind of 2 different elements together into one app. And so if you've already got an audience on Instagram, you can just stick with Instagram now, because it gives you that, basically like 2 platforms in one, in a way, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I always get the question, what about this new social media? Should I be on it? And I mean, my 2 defining factors for that are, do you have a following there already? And if you don't, can you move them over? And is that both of them? Oh my God, and do you enjoy it? Because if you really hating on it, it's not going to work for you. And I mean, if you hate Facebook, that's a shame, because Facebook has 4 marketing strategies at least. Like, there's your page, there's ads, there's participating in groups, and there's your own group. So Facebook really could be your big one and only social media platform. And I think Instagram's now teasing that out, so that you could kind of just run 2 and really be nailing a lot of really quality content. I mean, how do you answer the question of which social media platform should I be on?
Yeah, so I kind of do like a 3-question approach, which basically my first 2 questions are very similar to yours. So the first one is always, okay, like, are your dream clients or customers there, and do they love hanging out there? Because I think that's really important too. Because if you look at something like Google Plus, like pretty much everyone's got Google Plus because they got a Google account, but they're not hanging out there. So
poor old Google Plus.
I do feel sorry for Google Plus. So, you know, just because they're there, you also want to make sure that they actually love being there, and it's something that, you know, they log into at least daily or even multiple times a day, because it's going to mean that you have a better chance of actually getting your content seen and interacting with them. And then the second question is, similar to yours in that, like, do you love being there? Because like we said, you know, people do feel the energy that you bring to your content. And if you don't love being there, people are definitely going to feel it. And, you know, if you're like forcing yourself to be on a social media platform, you know, it just gets you stuck in this cycle of, you know, you're not really going to put much effort into it because you don't want to be there, and then you're going to get discouraged because no one's liking your stuff, so you're going to put less effort into it. Vicious cycle just continues. And then the third question is, because I'm a content strategist, it's all about the content. So it's like, okay, can you sustainably produce the content that you need for this particular platform, plus also have the time and energy to actually engage with your audience? Because it's about remembering, okay, we're not just creating content for this platform, it's remembering the social aspect of social media. Like, you know, you do need to interact and engage with people. And I think sometimes we can forget that when we're deciding if there's a platform that we want to go on. And, you know, Twitter's a really good example. I mean, Twitter is really busy and it's really hectic. And especially if you're in kind of the entrepreneurial or blogging or like marketing sphere. I mean, there's people who are tweeting like, you know, 20 to 30 times a day. Like, it's ridiculous.
Horrible.
And, you know, that's just to try and get your stuff seen. So if you can't, like, say, you know, your dream clients love Twitter, you love Twitter, but if you can't commit to being able to create that much content and then also be able to like engage with people there, there's not really any point in you being there.
So true.
So I think it's like, those 3 aspects kind of, all come together. And then it's really, a lot of it too is like gut feel as well. Like, do you want to be there? Do you want to be there? Are your people there? And then just go, you know, take it from there.
It's the classic question, isn't it? And I feel like, you know, as a marketer, I want to know, like, a part of being a marketer is, well, for me, and I imagine you as well, is being on top. Like, I can't have someone come to me and go, oh, have you heard about blah, blah, blah? And me just kind of go, oh, no. Like, it does happen and it's kind of feels really weird. But I love to just know what's going on and to be able to inform people, because a huge part of your marketing communications could be educating. It doesn't matter if you're a marketer or you make lip balm. You're a part of the way you can communicate with your audience is by educating them. So a huge thing as a marketer is to know what the social medias are, how they work, and be able to answer those questions for people. But that doesn't mean I think everyone should be on everything. I just love new things. I get all really excited about them. I'm like, I want to unpack it and understand how it works. So I'm like, okay, next. I'm a bit fickle like that.
I think I guess I kind of started out like that, and then realized that the whole kind of actual content aspect was what I love the most. And so I kind of have changed slightly, and I kind of focus more on the message in that sense. And so for me, it's like the platforms are kind of the next step. It's like, okay, let's work out what your messaging is, who you're trying to target, and then let's look at, okay, well, what's the best way for you to reach the people that you need to reach?
Nice.
And for some people, yeah, that may be social media, but for others, maybe it's that, you know, they really love kind of teaching, and something like webinars or live training would be a really good fit for them. Or, you know, maybe they really love writing and sharing their story. So then blogging is a really good fit for them. And so that's kind of, the approach that I take. And in one sense, it's kind of good because it means that, I don't have to like run around and know how everything works in one sense. But I am interested in that, and I do really love social media. So I do kind of keeping on top of, you know, what's kind of coming up and what's new. And like Instagram stories, like totally addicted, like jumped on that like day one. I was like, what is this new thing? I think I watched like 2 people's stories. I watched like Gary Vee's story, and then I was like, I have to do this.
He is so inspiring. I've been doing this thing called SSSVEDA, which is like video every day in August, and that has been really
yes, I saw you post about that,
because I do not like writing blogs, and I find video really much easier. So, and I actually did a video yesterday, the day before, about really knowing yourself, and I was really hearing that come through what you were just saying, how important it is to really know where you like being, but also the kind of message you have and what kind of content you like creating. It's just such a huge piece for people. Oh, it's good to talk to you.
I know. It's fun.
Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I feel like we could go for hours, literally.
Yeah, I think we could.
But I'm going to stop because I probably need to go to typo. I would need to go to the station. I was just telling Brogan about my stationery problem, and now I just remembered I have my business expense card in my wallet, so I could legit go and buy something and it be a business expense, and that could be okay, which is very exciting.
Totally okay.
And I guess if people want to find you, they'll find you on Instagram stories.
They can find me on Instagram stories, yes, because I'm really loving that at the moment.
Yeah. Or what do you want to talk about?
Otherwise you can just head over to my website, so broganmikuloff.com. And I'm also at the moment offering, if you are kind of, you know, in that space where you're kind of freaking out a little bit because it's August and you're not quite sure what you're doing, I am offering some free creative content ideas brainstorming sessions.
Nice.
So basically this is just, you know, you and me, we get on the phone for 30 minutes and we kind of just, you know, hash out a plan for your content. And it can kind of look in different ways. If you want to focus on social media or your blog, we can totally do that. And we can just brainstorm some content ideas, or if you've got a post and you're not quite sure, like, is this hitting the mark? And you want some feedback, we can go through that as well. Or if you're just not sure, like, what your ideal audience actually wants to hear from you, you know, we can flesh that out and brainstorm some ideas together so that you have got planned for the rest of the year.
Cool. And so maybe they could just find you, well, Instagram stories, they could inbox you, or they find you on Facebook.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be the easiest. If you just inbox me on Instagram, and then I can send you the link to book in for your free session.
That sounds cool. Freaking hell, I probably need someone to help me with that. Even when you with your own marketing, I'm like, I'm a marketer, but I'm not really on track with my content sometimes. I'm just such an I'm a shocker. Can be very ad hoc, but I'm hoping my 90-day planning is going to change that. Oh no, tell me.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I think focusing on a few key platforms, it makes it so much easier to be consistent. And I think every time I get a little bit distracted and I think, oh, it would be nice to kind of be on Pinterest, or, oh, it would be cool to do this, I kind of think, okay, well, where am I right now? Like, I'm already kind of on like 3 social media platforms. So that's probably as much as I need to be on and as much as I can handle right now. Plus, I'm blogging once a week. So it's like, it's always just coming back and going, okay, what's sustainable? Because you don't want to go gung-ho for like 2 months and be everywhere and be like blogging once a week and on all the social media and then kind of just crashing and burning and disappearing off the face of the earth for 6 months. So
and I guess it's also like, I feel like I'm setting up a nice funnel on YouTube now where I've just got this flow, this really nice flow feeling there. I'm like, oh, I just want to keep that momentum and build there. And I guess it's helpful if you do know yourself. Like, I know I love video and Well, I can't believe I just said that. Now I do love video after hating it. And just knowing I want my people to head over there, and I've got a long-term strategy about, you know, building up products there. And yeah, it's so exciting. I feel like I'm after that Gary Vee video about August. If you haven't seen the Gary Vee video about August, probably watch it. I'm just like, excited. Brogan, thank you. It's like a regular thing. It was so much fun. I'll be
Yes, we should. It was good fun.
See you, gorgeous viewers.
See ya.